Purdue as Mitchell looks for an answer.
Ooh, pure, nothing but net.
Garland to the basket, stole the inbound pass. He lays it in.
Basketball down there.
Very high percentage shot for him from that spot. Merrill for three. Tristan Thompson on the floor. That's short. Hard rebound. Ricochets out to Merrill for three again.
For the We Like Sports Show, tune in and see the latest the crew has to say regarding the latest sports topics nationally and locally. Make sure to check out our website as well, WeLikeSportsPC.com. Subscribe on all platforms, including podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and much more. And be sure to follow us on X at We Like Sports PC.
Started with Anderson and Ramirez.
He said, let's go, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he wants the game to start, but they won't let it. And rightfully so.
Welcome to the We Like on time for once. We're just waiting on Cam for once. That's weird.
I made it.
It's TikTok. They're ringing in.
Beautiful. I like the revamp you've done of the stream here. We got some new blue highlights here. We're really moving up in the world.
Yeah, you know,
Exciting.
shout out to the other shows that also end up being a part of the We Like Sports Network, because they actually had this going on and they had a little bit of a stadium setup. I like it. And of course, I still had the Cavs background since somebody commented about us being at Progressive Field talking football. I figured, why not hang out at Rocket Mortgage when nobody's there the day before the Cavs face the Thunder?
How beautiful is that? Yes. I've spent a lot of time in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, so it makes me feel at home.
Yeah, and these seats too, I'm sure, right? Almost identical.
Actually, yeah. A lot of the seats that I've had were actually like right in this section. I was at the Knicks Cavs playoff game 2 seasons ago. It was 2 seasons ago, and I sat in almost these exact seats, few rows up from here.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. See, it's like I knew you without knowing you years ago when I first ended up having this picture. I knew some guy that I'd end up running into would be a big fan of this arena, so it just works out that way.
There you go. That's awesome.
But I wanted to end up doing this with Cam here too, but I kind of, excuse me, the show will go on though without him. I figured something new that we could end up going to start the show would be, speaking of which, I'm talking shit and there he is.
Speak of the devil, you shall receive.
Yeah, I don't know. The devil?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Whoever you want it to be.
Is it you?
Cam's too nice to be the devil. We all know that.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Just don't piss me off. You'll be good.
But yeah, anyways, do you like the new setup, Cam?
I do. It's actually really nice. I'm glad that we finally switched from baseball because, that was brought up on Sunday. But
Payton was just saying that.
I love the fact that, it's going to be the running joke for a bit, too. Just the fact that you're like, baseball's been here. So are we now.
I feel like there's a lose-lose situation, though, because we're inevitably going to be talking NFL again. And whoever said that's going to come in and go, why do you guys have a NBA background when you guys are talking about football? It's like, dude, go watch.
I'm just going to cut a promo on you.
Yeah, I'm going to cut a promo on your forehead. Watch out.
Whoa.
But anyways, what I wanted to dive into, do something different. Obviously, we have a bunch of stuff to talk to today. Looking to go about 6:30 today, so stay tuned. But wanted to try something different, kind of like a quick hits type segment. And you guys both get a minute each. I'll try to end up precisely timing you to a minute.
Is this around the horn type thing?
Kind of, but not really. It's the We Like Sports Show edition, I guess.
Okay.
But anyways, first question. Avi, alphabetical. He was here first also. He'll go first, then Cam.
Hit me.
So, first question. Sam Darnold, is he legit or is he not legit?
Oof. It's a tough question to answer after the performance on Sunday. I mean, we've seen him all season kind of dominate the games that he's been in. He's looked really good, and his passing has been very precise and, not much to complain about from the Vikings faithful, that's for sure. But then you come into a big game like this, and it seemed like maybe the lights were a little too bright. A lot of the passes he was throwing were too high, which is generally, in my eyes, a sign of nervousness, or I don't want to use the word yips, but when every pass is off the mark, there's something going on there up here. So I don't think it's panic mode just yet for Vikings internally, but I would say if he comes out in this next round of playoffs and has a similar look and isn't making those completions that he's made all season, this conversation is going to get a lot more interesting. And I'll say maybe he's not as legit as people.
All right, that's a minute and a half. I'm going to have to cut him off. He won over.
You just mute me, dude?
Yeah, I did.
What show is this?
I kept on going with it too. I said a minute, and I'm like, let's see how long, just as a tester, would this take with Avi. I was letting you try to complete your thought, but you just kept on going.
I was like 2 words away, and you just had to cut me off.
Well, cut it 2 words less next time.
I don't know if I'm on board with this segment anymore.
I'm on board with it. I'll take that much. All right,
keep it to a minute.
Ready?
All right. Yep.
Go ahead.
Go. All right. So is Sam Darnold legit? This year he definitely seems that way. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go with no, he is not legit. I will tell you what is legit though. The play calling and the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins was legit in that offense. Goes to Atlanta, doesn't do so well. I think that has a lot to say about what is actually happening in Minnesota. They can win with any quarterback, and it seems to be the case. The last couple of years, they have consistently done that, and I think that is what is legit. Sam Darnold, I don't think so. Will you get the same numbers from J.J. McCarthy next year? Probably not, but he's still going to be a good quarterback. Will they be competing for the North if it is J.J. McCarthy? I believe that is the correct answer, yes.
If only, and then he finishes 20 seconds early. He finishes early. It kind of evens out.
This is such an interesting conversation, though, with the Vikings.
It really
I don't think Daniel Jones would be doing, anything near what Sam has been able to accomplish this season. That's for sure.
Well, nobody also thought Sam Darnold would do what he did.
I don't think you'd even have this conversation if it wasn't for that Sunday Night Football game either. I think everybody was on board at the time with them, and then you kind of saw what happened when the lights were a little brighter. And I think otherwise we wouldn't have this conversation if they'd be the 1 seed and the Lions were the 5 seed. But obviously true colors showed, and missing wide receivers obviously goes to show you that didn't go the way it was planned.
Well, let's not forget, too, Sam Darnold is in the conversation for comeback player of the year. This is a guy who was considered a backup in the league until he's shown what he can do this year. So,
yeah,
it's hard to have the conversation now after that showing, but he's been so good all year, man.
All right, next question. Aaron Rodgers. Have we seen the last of Aaron Rodgers in the NFL? Avi, you could go right now. You have a minute.
It's an interesting question. I think he plays another year. Whatever it is, it's, I'm sure, package deal situation with Devontae Adams. And I think Aaron Rodgers is just too much of a competitor to go out the way he did this year. We were saying similar kind of rhetoric last year at the end of the season. We saw kind of a crappy end of the year for Rodgers, or for the Jets without Rodgers. And we knew he's going to want to come back and really show what he can do. And he had flashes of it this year. And to me, that's going to motivate him more than if he played like absolute crop. And could not move the ball down the field. But he had his games, like we saw in the last game of the season for him. He threw 4 touchdowns.
There it is again.
He can take my extra 20 seconds. Go ahead.
I'm over it. Point is, I think he keeps playing.
And the best
He does
part
not
is
like
the
this
visuals.
argument.
The best part is the visuals. Is you don't know when it's coming. I could have an alarm like TikTok going off the last couple of days, but instead it's just nice to be able to.
I was trying to time it. We can see how long we've been live in the corner of our
That's
our
exactly
feed
what
here.
I'm going with.
And so I was trying to time it, but clearly my time is off. So
That's all right.
Failed.
Cam's good at finishing early, so Cam, go ahead.
Wow. All right. All right. Start my time. Go.
wait, how do you know that?
He doesn't. I don't know how he. And that's actually not true. But
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what
no.
you guys are talking about.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah. PG. Keep it going. All right. Go ahead. So
ahead.
starting now.
Right now, make it even.
Okay. I do not think Aaron Rodgers is going to go ahead and I think he's going to go ahead and continue playing as well. I honestly think that is going to be the case for him. Do we see him as a starter? As a bridge quarterback, definitely a possibility. He's going to have to understand that he is not a starting quarterback anymore in the NFL. Will he start doing what Brett Favre did? Very good possibility. You tell this man you're going to pay him $3 million to sit on the bench. It's a good paycheck. I'll take that. But I don't think he's going to be a starter very much longer for the any NFL team.
Dude, 40 seconds early again.
And I delayed my start too. Yeah.
Delay 20 seconds. Just sit in complete silence, drink whatever you're drinking slowly, finish it off, and then go there. I mean, wow.
Can I ask a follow-up question for this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. And now I've had this conversation actually with my father-in-law. We had like a drunk stupor conversation about Aaron Rodgers, and I was playing devil's advocate because he was saying, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I kept saying, I think he is. So Payton, you have a minute, go.
If he is or if he's not. All right. You know what? Honestly, I think starting now, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame type quarterback. I mean, he's won Super Bowls. I feel like if you win a Super Bowl, you end up having that to your record. I think that he's been able to win and wait in the footsteps with Brett Favre behind him. He's definitely continued on that Packers legacy as well after Brett Favre left. When you're a rookie quarterback, especially if you look at the schools that he went to. I mean, he went to University of California. Usually those big schools, when he came out, didn't necessarily have those type of caliber wide receivers. But you could also play devil's advocate and say, well, is the Packers organization just quarterback university, as if you want to speak college terms, because Jordan Love has also ended up providing them with wins as well in a playoff spot. But I think also being able to...
I can't mute you, but your time is up.
I was about to say, it's just about to end. Got it forever.
Hey, you know what? That works.
Shut it forever.
Guess
Cam,
what?
Do you think?
I can mute Cam.
Yeah, you hold the power. I understand.
Are you waiting for me to talk to mute me?
Yeah. No.
Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback. Yes, he definitely is. Everyone's going to make the argument of, he's only won one Super Bowl. To me, that doesn't even matter. He's going to be in the top 10 for passing yards. This dude is just unbelievable. He was one of the most clutch quarterbacks before we had Mahomes, before we had Burrow, before we, he came. You give this man 30 seconds on the clock, he's making magic happen. He's the king Hail Mary to win it all.
He finally won over.
Look at him go. But yeah, I'm glad you guys agree with me, because I was, during that conversation with my father-in-law, he kept saying Aaron Rodgers is not, a quarterback. And I think a lot of his reasoning, or a Hall of Fame quarterback, and a lot of his reasoning seemed to be like he just didn't like Aaron Rodgers because of some of the things he says in public rather than, objectively looking at what he's done on the field. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but I know a lot of people feel that way about Aaron Rodgers and, would say, oh, he's not as good as people say he is. But I think not anymore, was a great quarterback.
I mean, I feel like it also depends on who you're asking and like what generation, because if you've only watched football for a couple of years and you saw him tear his Achilles and then you saw him perform the way he did with the Jets, they didn't grow up the same way that we saw Aaron Rodgers be as that quarterback. Obviously, in the case with your father-in-law, I feel like he obviously saw good football with Aaron Rodgers. But if you ask a kid that's younger than us, let's say, I don't know, 5 to 15, that just started watching football, they've seen a lot more elite quarterback play from Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and they didn't see Aaron Rodgers in his prime necessarily, and they are seeing an old man Aaron Rodgers, like a washed up Tom Brady almost. And Tom Brady never had that era either.
Yeah, kids that age would probably label him dog water or Ohio toilet riz, one of those.
Is that really a saying?
Yeah, dude, don't get me started.
Ohio toilet riz?
Well, Ohio is like a huge meme for Gen Z.
We run the world, baby.
They're
Let's just know
obsessed
that
with
much.
Ohio. Yeah.
That's mind-blowing. I feel so old and out of touch, and I'm not even that old.
Yeah.
I'm Avi's the youngest one out of all of us here, and he's not much younger than me, and I didn't even know what that was. So,
dog water, I know.
The only reason I know stuff like that is because I'm plugged into like the gaming community and like streamers, and I'll watch YouTube videos of them like watching, looking at TikToks and stuff like that, and it'll be like memes like that, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'll look it up. I'm like, okay, it makes no sense, but I guess that's the thing. What, Payton?
What's up, brother?
What's up? It is Tuesday, brother.
Special team, special plays, special players.
But
he recently was on my my favorite comedy show called Kill Tony. It's the largest live podcast in the world. We are aiming to overtake them here in the next few months. But yeah, it was cool to see a guy like Sketch on a show like that.
Yeah, Sketch, Cam Patterson, Tony Hinchcliffe, Red Band, any of those guys. If you want to join us on the We Like Sports Show, we're Ohio guys. Tony, Red Band, you guys are Ohio guys. Come on,
yeah, get them in here to talk some Ohio State football. I'm sure they would love it.
We like killing sports. That is the name of that special.
We like killing sports. Yes,
with O.J. Simpson.
No. I'm out.
What happened?
We're cooked. You
done got us banned on YouTube.
Yep. There we go.
No, because I
one mention of OJ.
He didn't do it, or did he?
Sorry, I kind of derailed our segment there. I'm sure Payton has some fantastic questions.
I do have another one, and then Cam, since Avi came up with one, think of one for us too, because I'm kind of intrigued to see what we could end up coming up with. But this one's been very interesting ever since Saturday happened. The Browns have the number 2 overall draft pick. Drew Aller has said that he was not going to the NFL, but now there's plenty of rumors that if he's drafted by the right team, he is from Medina. He was Mr. Ohio in high school football. He plays for Penn State. Do you see Drew Aller coming to the Browns and or the NFL next year, especially if Penn State does well? Avi, you're up now.
It's an interesting one. I know I've started every answer like that, but I'm going to continue on the trend because they're good questions, Payton. I'm not filibustering. I'm just answering the question. But yeah, it's a question I would love to answer. I love Drew Aller. Not really. I don't really care about Drew Aller. I'm more of a Will Howard type guy, but that's just me. I don't think he goes to the NFL, to be honest. Just with the rhetoric that he and his team have been putting out, he's probably going to end up going back to college. But like you said, if he gets drafted to the right team, maybe go to the NFL. I don't think the Browns will target him specifically. The Browns just make picks that don't make sense, and this pick would probably make a little too much sense for them. So they're going to probably not do it. That's how I tend to look at the Browns picks.
Look at that. I didn't even have to mute you. You were right on time.
I'm getting the hang of it. Look at me.
Look at me.
You did throw us into the fire, so
Yeah, I did. That's fun though.
And to you,
we did not get these questions prior to
no, we did not.
the show. If you can't tell by our completely unprepared answers.
You
Mr.
guys know when I texted you before the show. That's when my mind started working.
Mr. Filibuster over. Oh, here, there you go.
All right, Cam, your time starts now.
Drew Aller will be back with Penn State next year. He's not a top 3 quarterback in the NFL draft coming up this upcoming year. He is not a top 3 pick. There are multiple defensive linemen, multiple linebackers, multiple wide receivers that will go before him if he were to even declare for the draft in that top 5. For me, this is going to be as simple as he could be its first rounder next year, depending on how he plays. However, this year, no shot. He is a mid to low level second rounder, if not a early third rounder, in my opinion, for the NFL draft this year. So he will be returning back to Penn State.
Got 20 seconds. You have anything else to add? 15 seconds.
15. All right. I'm just going to.
You got to work on your filibustering.
Yeah, you got to hit a minute precisely.
How will you ever make it in Senate if you cannot filibuster?
Never want to, never will. Thank God.
Perfect way to end on it. But
I'll go out with that one.
Did you end up coming up with a question for Avi and I, and then we could end up starting the show? This might not be a bad way to end up starting the show every now and again. Throwing out some questions for like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, here's one. Ohio fans, particularly Browns fans, are going to hate this one if they are watching, which I'm very happy about this one.
Oh boy.
Should there be an IQ test to get on Twitter? Specifically talking about Baker Mayfield not beating a 500 team or having a terrible season. Because that's
you're
all
talking about the fans
I'm
that
seeing.
keep on going.
That's all I'm seeing is he hasn't beaten a 500 team or he had a terrible season.
I'll go
Payton,
first.
you can go first.
All right, I got a minute. Should there be an IQ test? No, because then you end up losing out the entertainment factor for anybody that wants to join social media. Just because you have a smartphone, a computer, a laptop, whatever, you could still join social media. It just lets us more educated people get a good laugh. And usually that good laugh consists of making fun of you. And just because, just like some talking heads in the sports world, they don't usually have facts. So I think that's why during the spaces of social media and having the ability to have social media, it makes it more entertaining. Just because you can't do research, that's on you. And somebody on social media is going to call you out for it. That's just the way that it goes. It's the nature of the beast. Somebody's going to correct you one way or another. You don't like it? Too bad. That's when you should get off of social media.
You're done. Shut it forever.
All right.
All right, my turn. So, well, first of all, I definitely don't think you should have a IQ test to get on social media. It's funny. It's a funny concept, that's for sure. But that would make things complicated. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, in terms of Baker season, I know, Cam, you and I have had a couple conversations about this, and I think we're on the same page that Baker had a great season. I mean, Baker has outperformed expectations, that's for sure. And the amount of injuries that they saw with that team down in Tampa, losing Chris Godwin for the season, not having Mike Evans for a big chunk of the season, having to rely on a rookie running back who's been, frankly, a breakout star in Bucky Irving, moving to slot receivers like Jalen McMillan, who, it took him time to grow into what he is now at the end of the season, but that team's looking much better now than they were, let's say, 2 months ago when they were missing Mike Evans.
You're done. Shut it forever.
All right.
And we lost Payton.
No,
we
sorry.
always lose Payton at the right time.
I had to sneeze, so I figured instead of just muting myself and watching the visual of a quiet sneeze, I just figured I'd get rid of myself.
Oh, that would have been so funny. Just seeing you like,
Yeah, I just don't understand. And I agree with all those points. I just thought it'd be kind of funny to talk about the IQ aspect because we really do have some people that simply just don't. There's so many search engines out there for the internet. Use one of them before you tweet. I mean, it's funny, but sometimes it's not.
to
I
be
mean,
fair,
watching
Cam,
the same six people go, he's never beaten a 500 team.
I don't know if it's an IQ issue or if it's just there's something in the water in Cleveland, Ohio, because we know Browns fans can be delusional. And this is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
So where we gotta stay? Gotta stay dangerous. Always and forever.
That's
always
just
and
what
forever.
the water is in Cleveland. It's just dangerous.
You know,
Yeah, we stay dangerous.
I tell you what, I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. But basically, what I seen, and I don't know if I retweeted it. I might not have. Does not look like it did.
I heard Bucky's might have retweeted it.
You know what? That sounds about right. You know, they got Bucky on their team too,
It makes
so
sense.
that does make sense.
Bucky
First they
on
get
the
the duck.
Bucks, sponsored
They
by
get
Bucky's.
Bucky. You know, Bucky brought out the ducky last week, and now they got Bucky Irving this week. So we're loving what's going on in Tampa right now with that. But no, I seen a list. It was Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom
Wait.
Brady,
Payton or Payton?
Peyton, yeah, Peyton Manning. We say that for Sunday with no morning coffee. Okay, that's what we save that one for. But we have Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Excuse you, Nova. No. Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, or not even Brett Favre. There's just Patrick Mahomes. It's just the top tier quarterbacks that had over 4,000 passing yards, 40 plus touchdowns in a season, and Baker Mayfield made that list. I mean, Deshaun Watson didn't make that list. You go Justin Herbert didn't make that list. Russell Wilson hasn't made that list. These are all good quarterbacks, or at least at one point were. This is one of those things where it's like those are guys that you said were top of the tier. Like those are the top of the top when it comes to the quarterback list, and they've never made that list, but he did.
Okay, so you said a name, and this goes back to the last question that I was going to end up including, but you said the name, and it rung a bell in my head. And this is going to be the last quick snips, quick bits. I kind of like that name. I just came up with it. Quick snips, quick bits. But news came out. Deshaun Watson, his injury has a setback. Is
Dancing
that
on TikTok, yes. Dancing on TikTok setback, yes, absolutely.
Avi, got a minute. Is that setback legit, or is it the Browns covering their ass? Go.
I think it's more so the Browns covering their ass. We've seen them pull stuff like this before, even with Deshaun Watson, as recently as his past year. I guess even more so in his first season is a better example when he had shoulder issues. He didn't have shoulder issues. He could play, but he's not going to play. He's hurt, but he's not hurt. He's feeling better, but he still isn't, healthy enough to play. It all seems like smoke and mirrors to me. And frankly, I think I can speak for all the Browns faithful that it's tiring. We're tired of the BS from the front office in regards to Deshaun Watson. Already a minute? That was already a minute?
Yeah.
It goes by quick, buddy. It goes by quick.
The best part was him being muted and having the expression with his and just hearing nothing. But
so for me, when you look at this, I always go back as the Browns front office to me is a direct comparison to the Browns fans on Twitter. You sit here and you make every excuse in the book on, why he's not good or what's going on. Oh, it's the offensive line. Okay, well, Jameis Winston came in and played a lot better. So what's the point there? What was the offensive line? No, it wasn't. Well, Amari Cooper's trash. Okay, well, you got rid of Amari Cooper. Still couldn't use the weapons. Winston could. What's the point there? You look at this. I go back with the fan base in the front office. They will make any excuse and any way to basically not take full responsibility and blame for what is going to be the worst trade in sports history, not just NFL.
He said trade, but I think he meant signing.
Well,
Was it a trade?
yeah.
Oh.
We gave up 3 first-round picks and
and then
$230
a
million
restructured
guaranteed
contract after. Yeah.
Yep. So it will go down as the worst, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know if I got sports in there, but you cut me off as I was saying in sports, and then that was the end of it. So
You said
we're
history,
like,
and then you repeated yourself. And
Yeah.
I think the point was there. Don't get me wrong. It was just the extra filler that you had, but you didn't
I
really
had a
need.
filibuster.
Oh, before I move on, I do want to call out real quick that Cam invented one of my new favorite words earlier. He moved on from it very quickly, but he said the toppest when he was talking about Baker Mayfield.
The toppest of the top.
The toppest of the top, yes.
I never even caught that. That's amazing.
Yeah. He tried to cover it up, but
I definitely did.
The cream of the crop.
Listen, we're gonna be the toppest in the world when we're at the baseball games this summer. Okay, so
The
we'll all
toppest of
enjoy
the
it.
top.
I will never be at
Toppest
a
of the
seat
top.
in the toppest of the world at Progressive Field. I will always be in the right field corner. Do not catch me in the upper deck.
That is the toppest of the top at that stadium.
I
You
hear
can't
that's what
find
they
a better
call Mount
section.
Everest, the toppest of the world. Yeah.
Yes,
The toppest.
exactly.
Yeah.
Man,
Anyways, sorry for
sorry for derailing
digressing
the
there,
show.
but I couldn't help myself.
Give me shit. Okay, go ahead.
Listen, the Cleveland Reds.
Yes,
The
exactly.
bread.
Yes. Except for we give the bread, we don't make bread.
Yeah, you
And
give
we go full loaf, they're full half loaf.
never go full loaf.
They cut their loaves diagonally like a bunch of psychos.
All right. So, getting into the actual part of the show, we'll end up knocking this one out early. This is probably about the time that this guy's going to end up jumping in, commenting about, why do you have a basketball background and you're talking about baseball? Well, this is what's going to happen, and you're going to get over it. All right.
Love it.
But we ended up, I'm going to share my screen here. MLB, of course, national media.
God. Here we go.
Had the next 10 years. You know, let's see what could happen here. If I end up clicking on it, is that a better image?
Yeah, it's better.
So next 10 World Series predictions. So in 2025, the Dodgers over the Tigers, the Mets over the Red Sox in
Hold on.
2026.
The who in 2025? No, 2025. Who was that?
The Dodgers and the Tigers.
Oh, the Los Angeles Deferrers. Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Surprisingly, in
Los
these next 10
Angeles
years, though,
Deferrers.
look at the next 10 years. They're only on there twice. So if they're deferring that much money, that is ridiculous.
Well, that's the whole
Money
joke.
catches
is that
up.
They're deferring all this money to try and chase rings over the next couple of years, and if it doesn't work out, I mean, they got one, but they're still going to look pretty foolish.
If they get another one next year, that's back to back. I'm sure that team will happily take that if they don't have to pay their stars for another 10 years. So
back to back, like I'm the Dodgers 24-25. It's not the same as 96,
Now,
97.
Payton, before you get into like listing off each of these individually, I don't think we have to do that necessarily.
Yeah.
But I think we can just start off by saying, why the hell is MLB releasing this? Are they just trying to get people like us to like be annoyed? I think that I think that's what they're doing. I think this is rage bait.
What else is going on? The free agency market has hit an all-time standstill right now. It's not going anywhere.
They got to stir up a conversation somehow. But my 2 cents on this, the most interesting matchups here to me are 2028 and 2034. Like,
I'll even say 2033 as well.
Sure, yeah, that one too. I mean, where are they getting this from? Like, I'm so curious to know, like, what platform is predicting this? Did they use freaking Chat GPT to predict this?
You know what? Out of curiosity.
Well, it's on Twitter, so I'm going to say Gronk.
Who's Gronk?
Or Grok, whatever
Grok
it is.
is a
Grok.
Twitter version of Chat GPT.
Yeah.
You got to pay for that, though, right?
Yeah,
You got to keep it in-house, buddy.
Is there a free Chat GPT?
Pretty sure it's available on iPhones for free.
Yeah, it's
All right.
true.
Let's try it in
but
Chat GPT.
anyways,
Who will
while you're-
win the World Series in 2028?
don't say who will win. Just say, please predict the next 10 World Series matchups.
There you go.
I
There
have to use AI for work for some of my stuff, so I've gotten pretty good at prompting.
Dude, that's awesome. You use Allen Iverson. That's great.
They can't predict.
That was horrible.
Hold
that
on.
was the point.
Hold on.
Can't predict.
All right, we got a list, but we'll dive into that.
Comparing ChatGPT predictions to MLB predictions. Fun
I
segment.
don't mind this list over the one on MLB. I feel like MLB might have done this, and they did things to piss off Clevelanders.
Really? What does your list say?
All right, so you obviously see the one on the screen. 2025, the Yankees and the Dodgers. Makes sense. Big payroll each side.
Ooh, big market. Go ahead.
26, Braves versus Houston.
They're higher up middle markets. Go ahead.
Padres versus the Mets, which makes no sense.
Big market, and it does not make any sense because they are both National League teams.
Unless if GPT is predicting that the Mets are moving to the AL, which makes no sense.
Hey, I mean, we did have 16 National League teams at one point before the Astros moved over.
All right, you got the Cubs versus the Rays in 2028.
You guys are too young for that.
No, what do you mean? Me, out of all people, the one that has lived through it?
Go ahead. Yep, keep going.
Nope, you're muted. You lost your privilege. So
the microphone czar Payton Vince over here.
The 2028.
I was calling an MLB, okay?
Oh, you could unmute yourself.
Yes,
cool.
I can. I figured that one out real quick.
Cool. 2029, Boston versus the Giants. 2030, the Blue Jays and the Brewers.
So they got one matches because they have the Brewers in 2030 on the MLB one.
2031, the Phillies against the Cleveland Guardians.
Huh.
That Bryce Harper last year.
And the Twins. They have the AL Central, and the Phillies and the Mets are in the same division too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they end up having the right division wise, and I think that's why they more than likely have done that. Is to just rile it up. 2032 Cardinals and White Sox, which is a year before.
Huh.
2033 Angels and Twins. The Angels would be incredible because Mike Trout, no shot that he ends up playing then still, and without Shohei. Then you also have the Nationals and the Athletics in 2034.
Something about the Athletics in 9 years. These people are really feeling good about them.
Well, they did just sign Brent Rooker to a massive deal.
Brent Rooker did get a big deal. That's
Rooker.
All right. What else could we end up predicting out of here?
Ask them to predict the next 10 or let's say 5 years of MVPs in the MLB.
This is interesting, but I don't see it happening.
All right, what do we got?
All right, you have Ronald Acuna Jr., 2025. 2026, Juan Soto, but with the Padres. Obviously, ChatGPT is a little outdated, but with the Mets possibly. Shohei Ohtani with the Angels. This is why I say it could get interesting. What if somehow, some way, he got traded back to the other side of Los Angeles?
That's not going to happen.
Listen, ChatGPT knows.
You think the A's are going to take on all that deferred money? Yeah, right.
The Angels?
The Angels, yeah.
2028, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and 2029, Fernando Tatis Jr.
I mean, they're all possible.
I did the same one for you with Chat GPT, but with Cy Young winners for the next 5. Garrett Cole, Sandy Alcantara, Corbin Burns, Spencer Strider, and Jacob deGrom.
Interesting.
DeGrom's the far-fetched one.
I was gonna say DeGrom. Yeah, no, not in 2020 or 2031 or whatever that would be.
All right. So
it's interesting though. This is a fun little experiment.
One more experiment, and this kind of goes with 2028. Paul Skeens, because you're teaching me how to use this technology right here and wording it the right way. I said predict Paul Skeens' stat line in 2025. 30 to 32 starts, assuming he's a full-time starter, 180 to 200 innings, 12 to 15 wins, and an ERA of 3 to 3.40.
So he's gonna have a down year.
I mean, yeah. Or else a bunch of no decisions. They're considering that the Pirates are rebuilding with the team to grow.
I could see that being the case. I think Steens comes out and has an even more dominant year, to be honest. But
There you go. I got one for you. Predicting the next 5 seasons for the Cleveland baseball.
It's
Cleveland
funny
Indians.
you went that route because I said predict the 2025 Guardians free agency. But go ahead.
2025, 85 and 77.
50.
20
Wait,
Go ahead.
what? What
I
did
have
you say?
85 and 77 for
Okay, I thought you said
2025.
55 and 77. I'm like, are they predicting another virus?
No, thank God. Hopefully God none. 2026, 88 and 74. 2027, 90 and 72. 28, it's going to be 87 and 75. And 2029, 82 and 80.
so perpetually mid, basically.
Yeah, you're going to be barely competing for a wild card or first place in this division.
I mean, I'll take it. They're not saying ChatGPT's not saying they're going to be bad, so hopefully they're right.
They're saying 2029 will be the decline year for Jose Ramirez too.
That's
why you see 82 to 8.
Though,
Is
isn't
it? Yeah. So then, yeah, he might just retire then at that point because he'll be what, like almost 40.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yep.
Let's see. Jose Ramirez, his contract. Guess what year he's an unrestricted free agent?
2028.
2029.
So that
And he'll
so
be
he
36.
might just so he might do one more year in 2029 with Cleveland and then just retire because he's already made the money.
Yep.
This is interesting. Didn't think this would go that route, but
I didn't either.
made
But
it
it's fun thing to do.
did
Maybe we can do
you-
more of it on another show.
Oh, 100%.
like on like a Sunday morning or something.
Yeah, we can have them predict the playoffs.
Or like
Yeah.
bets. Let's see how
Yeah,
stupid we get.
Oh,
While you
God.
mentioned that, Cam, we are coming up on like 15 minutes left in the show. Are you guys down to talk some NFL playoff slate?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still doing our awards as well for MLB or no?
Next week, I heard. I just got a little buzz
For
in my
for
ear.
NFL, we'll do it next week. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, why don't we? This could be really fun. Next Tuesday, since we end up having a little bit more time to plan,
Mm-hmm.
we have a We Like Sports Show award show. And since we have visuals, what if we end up dressing up?
You want to dress up like what? What are we dressing up at?
Like an award show.
Oh, you want to wear suits on the show? We can do that.
Hell yeah.
I don't have
That'd
a
be fun.
suit. I best I can do is a tie and a dress shirt.
Keegan, what are you talking about?
He
He's
doesn't get
show.
notifications. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's on you, Keegan. That's on you.
Keegan, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit that notification button.
Yeah, hit that bell. And make sure to wear your suit next week.
For sure.
You might, who knows? You might get called down the red carpet.
Also, like, there's so much that my mind's turning. I'll text you guys after the show because this could be really interesting as like an award ceremony.
Okay.
I think we might have to do
Save it for after the show.
Oh yeah, otherwise we'd be way too much time.
Yeah.
I think we might have to do our division predictions as well for that show.
for MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each division, make your rankings. You don't have to give records, but you can just put who you think's first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Because I did my research for the Cy Young, and I'm very excited to share my pick. But all right, we will dress up and we will have fun, boys.
Sounds good to me.
MLB next week, NFL right now. Avi, go 1 minute.
Well, I guess I can start things off a bit.
No, I'm just kidding.
I want to talk over the Ravens Steelers matchup that we have. Is that what it is, right? Ravens Steelers, and then Texans play who was it? Pull it up here so we have it on lock. Yeah, Texans play the Chargers. I think that matchup's going to be really interesting too. But we'll start with Steelers Ravens. Divisional matchups in the playoffs are like my favorite thing in the NFL. It's going to be so much fun. But unfortunately, I think the Ravens are going to blow out the Steelers in this matchup. The Steelers have not been playing good ball. Their defense has been decent. You know, they've been all right, but the Ravens offense is just unbeatable in my opinion, the way they're looking right now, at least for the Steelers. How do you guys feel about it?
Well, we know where Payton's going with it.
No, I really don't. Like, I it's hard to even be biased right now. Like, I'm kind of with what Keegan said last Sunday. They in order to win, you have to have different looks. You might have to end up every other drive switching out Russell Wilson on those deep balls early on, and then Justin Fields just kind of had that short game and just kind of go from there. But I mean, the only thing that could save the Steelers is their defense. But if you look at that last home game against the Ravens when Ohio State first played the Ravens, when Ohio State faced Tennessee that weekend, that definitely exposed them, especially being at Baltimore as well. And I'm a little concerned with that front. But anything could happen in sports and in the NFL. But I'm not confident.
I'm going to say this. The biggest question mark for the Baltimore Ravens is going to be their secondary. Can they actually stop the passing? The same issue is going to run in with Pittsburgh. Can you actually connect on the deep passing? That is something that will benefit Baltimore. If they can just have Russell Wilson off again and not be able to connect with the deep bomb, then Baltimore is going to just steamroll them. Also, the other thing is going to be, obviously, it's an advantage in the running game and the quarterback game for Baltimore. You know, you have Derrick Henry and you have Lamar Jackson. Lamar is going to win in the passing and the running game against the Steelers. It's hard to contain him and Henry, so I do think that Baltimore is going to take an early lead, but they will eventually start giving up points to Pittsburgh as the game progresses.
You want ChatGPT's thoughts really quick?
Sure, we'll stay on theme.
Go for it.
All right. Speculative prediction for the 2025 card game. Final score, Ravens 24, Steelers 17. Outcome analysis. This made me laugh. In a hard-fought AFC North wildcard game, the Ravens' explosive offense led by Lamar Jackson could be the deciding factor. Jackson's ability to make plays both in the air and on the ground may give the Ravens a slight edge over a still developing Steelers offense, which could struggle to keep up if Pickett is still finding his rhythm. I'm just going to stop reading from there.
That's funny. ChatGPT is a little outdated for sure.
Well, you're trying the free version, so there you go.
Hey,
I thought what you were saying, Peyton, about like Keegan's comment of having Russell Wilson and Justin Fields switch out is very unlikely. You know, we haven't really seen them do that much down the stretch. I don't think that they would change things up going into the playoffs, but you never know. It's Mike Tomlin. He's a bit unorthodox of a coach sometimes. You know, more so recently than in the past. He used to be kind of the, you know, hard nosed, like we play football one style kind of guy, but now it's definitely seems different. So he could pull some strings and come out and surprise some people, but I just don't see that happening.
Well, it's a lot easier too when you had Le'Veon Bell too in the backfield.
I will say
yeah.
If they beat the Ravens, their next matchup gets a whole hell of a lot interesting. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but it's going to end up being interesting because you'll probably end up facing I believe that would be the Chiefs then, because the Steelers are the 6th seed.
They don't go by lowest remaining seed anymore, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure. It's the lowest seed remaining. And then that from there would be, I don't even think ESPN is going to end up helping me out here, but I'm 99% sure that's what I saw this past weekend. All right, let's see what we could get. Playoff.
I'm looking for a playoff bracket right now. I'm not seeing anything helpful. Where is this?
Playoff bracket. ESPN. Let's see.
Okay, yeah. Second, yep. The
Yeah,
lowest
so it
remaining
would be.
seed.
It would
Yeah.
be the Chiefs host lowest seed. So yeah, even if the Steelers make it past the Ravens, then they'd have to play the Chiefs. You know, kind of a juggernaut of a way to the Super Bowl for them. That's
I
for
mean,
sure.
either way, they were going to get screwed. They were either playing the Chiefs or Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, and we all know Buffalo has Lamar's number in the playoffs.
And let's not forget what the Packers. Keegan keeps talking about the Packers. Let's not forget what the Steelers have done in their recent playoff appearances, which is lose every single one.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time seeing that change.
The Browns and Baker Mayfield broke them.
They were broken before that. Tim Tebow, ever since then, had
I was
essentially
so 20-yard slant,
that.
20-yard slant. Boop, he's gone.
I hated all of that.
80 yards. I was jumping up and down for joy. I loved every minute of it. I'm sorry, Payton. Go ahead.
Whatever. Screw off.
Okay. I know you guys love talking. Well, specifically, Cam loves talking shit about the Steelers. Let's move on to the next matchup for Saturday that we will not be able to hit on Sunday because that game will have already happened. And that is Chargers-Texans. This is a more interesting matchup to me because the Chargers have been playing great ball while Texans have not at all. But
shout out to Keegan, by the way, in his comment.
Also, yeah, nice, Keegan. But the Texans do have home field advantage, which in the playoffs I think can make a big difference. And we saw the Texans win a playoff game last year against Cleveland. Obviously, that's a very different matchup than this, with the Chargers coming in hot. And the Chargers just got back J.K. Dobbins. All their tight ends that were injured. I think it was Will Dissly was injured. He's back playing for them. How do you guys see this game going down? Cam, you can go first.
I think this is belts to ass. Los Angeles Chargers are going to be handing it to the Texans. They're going to do it in kind of a gentleman way with Ladd there, going to have an amazing game. They are going to probably win this one, in my opinion, probably by almost 3 touchdowns.
Really? That is quite a prediction. I kind of lean on that side too, Cameron, but let's see what Peyton has to say.
Peyton?
So I checked with ChatGPT before Cam even got to his answer. And ChatGPT is saying the Chargers 31, the Texans 17. That's interesting. It's not 3 touchdowns, but
2 touchdowns though.
2. And hearing chatter just earlier today at work too, that seems to kind of be the theme, is that CJ Stroud hasn't really had that great of a season. Sophomore slumps are real. I don't think that the Texans can end up winning. I think it's going to be a closer game. I'm kind of on Keegan's route here that the Chargers win, not the Texans, but the Chargers win 27-24. But
a close game. Yeah, I just don't think
closer than what Cam and ChatGPT predicted.
Yeah. There's an ongoing theme here with Keegan. He just hates great quarterbacks. He doesn't like Burrow. He doesn't like Herbert. He doesn't like Mayfield. He doesn't like Jaden Daniels. Like, what's up with Keegan not liking good quarterbacks, man?
That is interesting. But yeah, the Texans defense, while they have been great, they've been able to get to the quarterback. They've had a good pass rush. I just think the way the Chargers have been playing, they're not going to be able to keep up with the offense. And they may quite possibly shut down Joe Mixon, as we've seen some teams be able to do. But if not, if Joe Mixon can have a good game and CJ doesn't completely fall apart, then we could have a game on our hands.
Keegan put out there CJ Stroud, not a good quarterback, question mark. Not this year.
Not this
Not
year.
this year.
I mean, he's been on fraud watch all year, and
We've seen what Burrow and Herbert can do. They are good quarterbacks. 2 seasons of CJ Stroud, he's 50-50 so far.
right.
And to go back to Keegan's comment as well, Stroud, he could bounce back, but that is incorrect. We are not Michigan fans. We've literally watched the Buckeyes before.
He wasn't here earlier. He wasn't here earlier. Go back to the beginning. You'll see me and Payton go OH.
Yeah, you could rewind that on YouTube, just to let you know, just not when we're live.
Yeah.
It's probably about like the 20-minute mark. But yeah, I mean, Stroud, he could bounce back in his third season, in his junior season, if you want to call it that, in the NFL. But his sophomore slump, that's real at the end of the day. Trevor Lawrence has fallen off since then. I think CJ Stroud is better, and I think that he will bounce back. I just don't think that the Texans, considering the fact that so many people also thought that they were Super Bowl bound this year with Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, all this star-studded lineup, injuries derailed them, and that's sports for you. You could always end up having that happen. I'm happy that initially when I ended up thinking about taking them to win the Super Bowl, I didn't, because they were good. Those odds were probably not juiced at the time. But yeah, I don't think Stroud ends up getting past the Chargers in the first round.
You make a really good point of something neither Cam or I touched on, which is those injuries. I mean, going from your wide receivers 2 and 3 being Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell to now John Mechie and Robert Woods, that's not ideal.
And then we end up having Sunday morning, when we end up coming back, we have plenty of football to talk about. Bills, Broncos. You have Packers, Eagles. Shout out to Keegan. You could end up joining us in the comments section. I'm sure you're going to be so excited to see the Packers lose. Buccaneers and Commanders. Shout out Baker Mayfield and shout out Jaden Daniels. And then the Monday Night Football matchup, the Rams against the Vikings. A lot of people, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. We'll hit on it more on Sunday, but a lot of people are kind of high on the Rams right now.
Rightfully so.
I like the Rams too. I also think the Buccaneers Commanders game has a possibility of being like the most exciting game of Sundays, but more to come on Saturdays or Sunday's show.
One more thing to talk about, because we've been avoiding it. One perfect bracket remains.
Who cares?
We got games in 2 days, man. Penn State, Notre Dame. How we feeling about that? Who's winning that one? Because I did take Penn State, but I'm kind of regretting my choice now.
Yeah, the way Notre Dame looked in that last game was pretty dominant, man.
Yeah, my picks were Penn State and Texas, and honestly, I think I got it all the way up to the end. I think I messed up on that one. I do think Payton's championship might be the right one on who wins, but and there goes TikTok.
Hey, they're just letting you know that they acknowledged me because you said my name and that my championship is correct.
There you go. But yeah, it definitely is looking that way. We will have to see. It's definitely seeming that way, Keegan.
I don't know if Notre Dame wins easily. That's a stretch. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, Penn State's defense is not terrible either. They do have a good defense. It's just we're going to see what their offense can do. That's the biggest question mark. And with Ohio State, Texas, I said it on Sunday, and I talked to you guys about it. I think that's the defensive matchup. I don't think you're going to see the fireworks.
This is kind of funny to end up ending the show this way. So, ChatGPT.
Oh boy.
I tried it twice, right? This is a brand new game to me. Like, this is just such a game.
It's a game.
Right, it is. But so I asked it beforehand because Cam's bracket doesn't matter. I went to determine, or not to determine, that's the reply it gave me. But I go, who has the perfect bracket between Cam, Avi, and Payton? Then it goes to determine the most perfect bracket. I'm going to need a bit more context, blah, blah, blah. And then I go, Payton, Avi, or Cam. Pick one. And then it goes, without more context, I can't give you a fully informed answer. If it's just a fun random choice, I'll pick Avi.
Let's go.
And I'm like, okay.
Get wrecked. Well, it's not even possible because my bracket's busted, but
Oh, we forgot to touch on that too.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, big game. Who's the best team in the league? Could be the Cavs. Could be tied with OKC after tomorrow. We'll have to find out tomorrow.
I think that is your NBA Finals preview of what's to come in the future. I've heard
hot take. Clip it.
Hey,
it is a hot take.
Clip it.
I like it though. I think the Cavs win this game though. You know, it's at home for the Cavaliers. The boys are going to be flying around. Not easily. No, I think it's going to probably be like a last second buzzer beater type win.
Dude, I don't know though, because man, after seeing OKC face the Bucks the way that they did, obviously the NBA Cup doesn't matter for jack squat, but seeing them get derailed and destroyed by the Bucks, I'm not saying
that
it's
was
going to be
a weird
blowout,
game. Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to be as close as we predict, especially at home in Cleveland. I'm intrigued, obviously, if that NBA Finals matchup does happen, how that goes in 7 games. It'd be 2 franchises that haven't won in a long time, very young cores on both sides. That's definitely going to get a lot of viewership if that happens. I'm intrigued by that, but I think maybe the Cavs, if they win, bold prediction, they win by 8 to 12 points.
Okay. Interesting. That kind of goes against what I was thinking because I think it's going to be close but very high scoring game. And I think it's one of those games where Donovan Mitchell goes for like 35 plus.
Peyton's got me on the chat GPT.
You guys are obsessed
now. It says, I said predict it. They said they cannot. Would you like me to break down the matchup, though? And they said Cavs are a strong choice. They may have the edge in this matchup, especially with a stronger overall roster depth and defense. However, the Thunder's unpredictable play style, especially with a star like SGA, can lead to an upset.
Yeah. I don't think that unpredictable style is going to work in their favor here, though, because the Cavs defense is just so fluid.
Yeah.
That they're going to be able to defend whatever they throw at them. And SGA can't score 125 points on his own. So
I think that's a good note to end on, is what Keegan said. The Ohio State Buckeyes are already national champs, by the way.
Sounds good to me.
I do. Right. I'm not going to lie. I do kind of want to see if it does happen. Ohio State versus Penn State, just to end up. I said this on the radio show on Friday, and I absolutely got fired up about it. The amount of respect that the Big Ten would get if that's your national championship after year after year after year of hearing SEC teams in Alabama and everything else. I'd love to see that because people will not know how to react.
I'm going to give something that's going to put a target on my back for the TTUN. Ohio State wins the national championship, we legit won with no cheating, unlike Michigan.
Ooh, I love it.
You can clip that and post it.
Clip that and post it.
Nice. I like it. This last hour, with just 4 minutes in it, has been juicy. It's been at the top-ish of the top. But until Sunday, about 11:45 to 12:45, kickoff at 1. I'm sure we'll end up doing some bets because we're dumb like that and we like throwing money away, as you saw.
Well, it's easier now with playoffs. Let's be honest. It's easier now.
Don't jinx it, bud.
I'm 100% jinxing it.
But for Avi, for Cam, I'm Payton. Follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Payton Vince, at Avi Eldritch, at Sportsboy Cam down there. And until Sunday, where we'll end up seeing 2 results of the football wild card weekend. Are you ready for a wild card weekend 2025? Thanks for tuning into the We Like Sports show. We'll see you Sunday. Join us on Twitter at We Like Sports PC, and take care.
Bye, everyone.
Go Steelers.